Hey everybody! Welcome to our live chat about entrepreneur life. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Kim Sierra. I have been an entrepreneur for 4.5 years now myself, and it has changed my life in so many unexpected ways. I like to use this platform to encourage and inspire others to take a chance on themselves and their dreams if they aspire to also be an entrepreneur, and not let fear stand in your way. So today I am really excited to interview one of my good friends. She's going to hop on any minute and share her story and her background and how we met. And hopefully it will be inspiring to you too. And there she is. Hi, Leighann.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing well. I am so excited to chat with you today. I know I am admiring you, following you. You are so inspiring, and I just think more people need to know what you are doing out there.
That's always a help, and it's great to be live with you today.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know we didn't have any technical difficulties, so that was wonderful.
Yep.
That is a big plus. So you and I think, have known each other now. I was trying to think back for maybe 8 years. And we're going to talk about how we met in a little bit. I know we met because of your swim school, and I'm so thankful for you. And when we get to that point, I'm going to share my story. But I would like our audience today to kind of get to know you, get to know how you started. I know you are a very busy mom, and talk a little bit about your background first, and then we're going to lead up into your entrepreneurship and how you built your not one but two businesses now.
Sure. So I guess my story is I was originally a classroom teacher, and I was coaching about 30 hours a week. In addition to that, my last job before kind of going off on my own was actually an athletic director. So doing 7 days a week as an athletic director, coaching 30 plus hours a week of swimming on the side. And my husband's job came and said, if you want to be a manager, I want to transfer you to somewhere else in the country. And we had got married about a month before. And as a couple, we kind of said, okay, we're willing to make that change. So I quit everything I'd ever done. I probably had about 6 jobs at the time, because anytime anyone offered me a job, I would take it. So I was coaching a summer team, coaching a high school team, coaching a club team, working as an athletic director. I don't even know what else. And long story short, we were only there for about 2 years, and he got promoted again, and we moved back. So I was clean slate, 2011, got pregnant 2 weeks after that, and knew I was in September, and I didn't want to teach anymore. I did classroom and be in 4 walls and put Allie, my soon-to-be daughter, in another. So I really set out to say, what are my options? And I didn't want to go back to feeling, I knew I could do more, I guess. My husband had been a teacher too and left teaching to go into pharmaceutical sales. So he had someone take a chance on him and say, there's something else out there that, unfortunately for teachers, you're paid more if you work harder. You're not paid more if you're better. And it really drove us crazy, I guess, about the profession. So he went out first, and once I saw him do it, I kind of said, I'm going to try something too.
Yeah, your audio is a little bit choppy. I think it's where you are in your house, maybe, that the internet is coming in and out a bit. Oh,
that helps.
All right, let's see if that helps.
If not, let me know.
I think you're in a bad area really where you're
wanting. All right, give me one second.
Hold on. That's okay. This happens. We'll be patient. That's live for you. No worries.
Yeah.
Because your story's compelling. People want to hear it. Thank you for letting us know it was choppy. Yeah, I have that basement. It's still bad. Okay, we're going to fix that issue. Hold on a minute. Is it just her end, or is my video okay? I think my video seems to be okay on my end. So let me know if my video's okay, if you're watching, while she's moving to another area.
All right, let's see if this works.
Okay, I think that's better. Thank you.
It's pretty bad sometimes, so we'll see.
Okay.
So where was I? I guess, we were back here in New Jersey. I was due in September with Allie and didn't want to go back to work. And I felt that if I could make a little bit of money, then Jeff wouldn't make me go back to work, which was never Jeff in the first place at all. It was myself. I always felt that I wanted to have ownership over my own career, and I didn't want to be at home. So I felt I needed to do something, but I also could not wait to be a mom. So fast forward, I incorporated North Jersey Aquatics 3 weeks before Allie was born and went from there. And I actually had a partner for about 3 months and realized very quickly that he loved coaching, but wasn't an entrepreneur and really didn't want to run a business. So I bought him out 3 months in and kind of went for it from there. And I think what I can always tell people is I have a degree in education. I have a degree in computer science because I was a computer teacher actually originally. I know nothing about business. I knew nothing about business at the time, but I had a passion and I knew I could do something in the world to make everyone else better. And I did a very good job of, looking back, I did a very good job of knowing what I wasn't good at and making sure I brought people in to help me with that part while using my strengths to help us grow. So today, North Jersey Aquatics has well over 1,000 swimmers in the pool right now. So every week, 1,000 kids come in and out. And we have 6 locations running. I'm always looking, I guess, for more locations and kind of to see where we can grow from. I will say very honestly, pool space is a rate limiting factor. These pools can at any moment say they don't want us there anymore. So that's kind of always in the back of my head of making sure we have enough space for our swimmers and enough. It's always this balance of, do you have enough teachers, enough pool space, and enough swimmers, and making sure that they all are perfect. So one thing I've been doing a lot on the back end lately is showing people how complicated it is on the back end to get it to look that perfect on the front end. And that's kind of, if I had to say one thing that I feel have figured out the best in business is how to create operations that will run smoothly and how to make sure that everything, I guess there's 6 locations that have to happen at the same exact time. So how do I scale that? I can't be in 6 places at once. So we're all running the exact same way, offering that quality of product with 1,000 swimmers. So we focus on that daily in the office. That's something that every little step and every decision we make is based on that. But I think that is something I feel I've done very well. I actually have a 3rd business that's a coaching business, and that one is my expertise is that scaling, staff training, and growth. I would not say my expertise is in social media and marketing, but my product has enabled me to show everyone what I can do without actually having to pay for that. So
You're so choppy. Your internet's coming in and out, and this is so good. I'm sorry we're having this issue, everybody, because this is such a great, yeah.
I'm trying to switch. We have a couple different Wi-Fi's in the house, so I'm going to see if this one works any better.
Okay.
I don't know if it seems any better right now.
It's better now, yes.
All right.
That's the other thing about being a business owner, Wi-Fi. Especially virtual.
The amount of times I've probably called Xfinity and asked them that I can't work like this is very frustrating. But
oh yes, yes.
Yeah. So I
want to share too that. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I want to share that I so appreciated when I met you, because I was at a point as a mom where my boys were not going underwater, right? So I met you because I was on a search for a good swim school. And in talking to you, you listened to what I was looking for. And you said, you know what? I think it would be best for you to start in a smaller pool where it's not overwhelming. Because I told you their history and how they had years of swimming lessons, but they still were too fearful to go underwater. And within the first lesson with you and your instructors, my boys had the confidence to go underwater. And I was like, what? So, I mean, and then I stuck with you in your school, and today they are great swimmers. So I think too, you took it a bit further to really understand my needs, which I thought was so important. And thankful for, for that. And I think that's what will also keep you getting repeat customers and referrals. So I found you from a referral. And that's the other thing that's really important, is to share, right? When you're happy with a service or a person or product, share that so other people can benefit from that too. So that was a positive of social media there. It was free press for you, right?
Right. I mean, I can single-handedly say that my success as a business owner was directly related to Facebook mom groups.
Yep.
and kind of tapping into them. But then, yes, offering a product where I think one thing that people forget is that every single person is connected to everybody else somehow. So we had an issue this week, as an example. We have an issue with one of our pools. I had to move some kids from one pool to another. We went through this whole process, and I reminded my team, no matter what happens, these are our families. It's not our fault that this issue is happening with the pool, but they are our people, and we need to take care of them. And we got through the whole process. Finding new classes for people when we've customized them and picked the perfect option in the first place is very frustrating and time consuming. And I had about 30 kids that I needed to move, and into about 7 spots, I would say. So trying to move things around to find other spots. And long story short, I got to the very end, created a class for a family. And at the very end of the final email, after a very long chain with them, she said, I don't know if you remember me, but we taught together 20 years ago when I was doing my student teaching. She was teaching at the school that I was in. So she knew who I was. And I thought I was talking to a stranger, having no idea that I have a personal relationship with this person, because she wasn't married at the time. So the name meant nothing, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to show you a good thing, right? That we treat everybody as if they're our only swimmer. I tell everybody, our instructors, our office team, act like we have 100 swimmers, not we have 1,000, and we will be in a better space. We don't want to feel like we have 1,000. We want to be Mercedes and not Walmart.
Yeah.
And if you have that Walmart feel, you're not giving the customer what they need. So that is one thing we've worked very hard on, and I think done well over the years, is figured out how to scale while offering the exact same small feel that you felt on your first day. So that is something that I really focus on. And I love to tell people it's all about relationships. So in launching Tutor Doctor, that's a whole nother thing. But my husband was in pharmaceuticals, decided about 9 months ago that came out of teaching. And then he realized, he's always said for the last few years, you're very lucky you get to do what you love, and you get to work in a job that has meaning, and you're making a difference in the world. And he felt that he wanted some sort of connection like that. So his company actually restructured. He was laid off. And I personally will tell you, I'm so excited that day, because I felt like this was his chance to try something new. Mm-hmm. And I kind of got that chance by him moving us to Alabama, because I had to quit everything. So it is in a weird way similar. So now I get to sort of be the support, and he gets to take the risk, which for the last 13 years, I got to take the risk while he had the supportive benefits and job and all of that. Mm-hmm. So it's really exciting to jump into that new business with him. It is mostly his business, I would say, but I am the one with all the connections. Everyone that, you swam with us years ago, yet maybe your kids need tutoring now, right? So all those families that I've already built relationships with over the last 13 years are hopefully going to help us grow, and really when you look at it, Tutor Doctor's model, it is a franchise, but we picked them because the model is North Jersey Aquatics in a classroom, right? From a tutoring perspective, it's a small customized class. We spend 45 minutes, if not longer, with each family, either through Zoom or in person. So we really get to know them. And then we match them with the tutor that we feel is the right personality and has the right approach for their child. So it's not just, here's a tutor and we throw them to your house and you do some tutoring. There's so much more to it than that. And that's the word, what I'm trying to get out to our supporters and everyone that's kind of been a follower of me throughout the years, is this is exactly what you've already seen and liked about our program. And now we get to offer it from an educational perspective, which is, again, kind of weird. We both spent probably a few years saying, what the heck's the point of a teaching degree? We did nothing with it, so to speak. And now we're full circle and going back to that education component, which we both have always felt was our expertise. So I don't teach swimmers as much anymore because I'm running the business, but we have 75 instructors. I run that training program because teaching them to be better teachers makes our program stronger. So that's something that I have tried to give out over the years and had other people train. And in the last actually 12 months, I've realized me running that training program immediately makes us a stronger program because that is what I'm good at. So maybe that's another tip as a business owner is figure out what your strengths are and make sure you're the one doing those. Whether your strengths are in sales, then you keep selling and hire someone else to do training. So for me, I do feel that my strength is in training and working on leadership within the business. So that's something that I spend a lot of time on daily now.
Yeah, that's great. And you mentioned something that we say a lot in our family. We have a tagline that says, the only thing you will regret in life are the risks you didn't take, right? Because you don't know if you're going to be good at something unless you try it. So the fact that, look at how successful you've been because you've taken those risks. And I say it's worse to live your life saying, what if, So, right. And here the two of you, look where you've become. I love that. I mean, it's kind of like too, I was in pharmaceutical sales prior to. I used to be an IT recruiter. I did that for 8 years. And then I went into pharma sales. And then I had my family. And I was that too, Mom, like, I wish I left corporate America because I wanted to stay home. And I would have loved to have my own business, but I didn't know what to do. Like you had opened up your own swim school. That's amazing. I happened to find a company where I could be a brand ambassador of their products. I'm still an entrepreneur, right? So there's a lot of different opportunities out there. I tell people, if you have an idea or, just want to do something new, don't let fear hold you back because that's the worst mistake you can make, I think. Because and then if it doesn't work out, oh well, we call it failing forward, right? You learn from your mistakes and you grow from them. But what is some of the things that you think have been surprised you about having these business that maybe you didn't expect? That was just something that you find that, wow, I didn't expect this to happen to me, and now look at it. If there's any advice.
I think the biggest it maybe is, I said earlier, pools are a rate limiting factor, right? I don't own a pool. I could have built a pool. One of my competitors, it costs almost $3 million to buy into that franchise, and they will build you a pool, and it's absolutely gorgeous, state of the art, painted in all beautiful colors that kids love and all of that. But that's a $3 million investment. And one thing that I felt was that I wanted to be cautious in what I spent. So right. I'm still to this day successful, but I rent all my pools. So I am stuck with that, or that could be a factor. Well, about 3 years in, I forget if your kids swam in the Bud Lake location, but I think it was right after we switched from there, right?
No, they swam in the Hampton Inn in Rockaway there.
Yep.
Small one.
Yep.
Yeah. And then they swam to Parsippany. Those are the two. So yeah.
So our first location, our first hotel was in Bud Lake, and we were there for a couple of years, and the relationship was just not working very well. We were growing. We got up to about 400 swimmers, and they didn't like us coming in their door every day, even though we were paying them plenty of money to be there. And that relationship got, I guess, worrisome to me. So I went out and said, I have all these kids that need a place, but I could have said at that point, I was going to lose all of those swimmers. Yeah. Instead, started looking at what are the other opportunities, worked on my connections. A friend actually said, call the Denville Hampton Inn. They do birthday parties. They might be willing to talk to you. That was my inn there. I had a different inn at the Sheridan. So just to put some quick numbers on it, at the time I was paying about $2,000 a month for the hotel in Bud Lake. The hotel in Denville wanted at least that, if not more. And the hotel at the Sheridan wanted $7,500 a month. So I was looking at pool alone going from $2,000 to $10,000. And I could have looked at that and said, no way. And instead I looked at my numbers and said, what do I need in order to make this happen? I'll be honest, most of people in my life probably thought I was completely nuts at the time, because that was a huge jump. Like, how are you going to spend $10,000 a month in just a couple? Those are only a couple locations. We have, we have others. There's months now that we spend $30,000 a month in rent, and I don't even think about it, because if I have the pool and the space to put the kids in, I know I can create the rest. So sometimes you have to look at those risks and say, was that a risk? Sure. How many hundreds of kids did I need in order to make that money worthwhile?
Yeah.
But it was worth it, right? And it was scary. I had a very scary summer this past summer. Jeff was unemployed. I was looking at a potential pretty big shift in the business. One of the swim teams in our area folded last April, and it left open many, many hours of full time at the College of not the College of the County College of Morris and at Morristown Baird, which are the two competitive pools that we use. If I took on all that, we would have doubled our pool rent again. And I don't think I slept for the month of July trying to worry about how much pool time do I need? Can I really take on all of that time? Looking back on it 9 months later, I wish I had taken more than I did, because we've already made it profitable and made it work for our business, and we're growing from there. But there's always those decisions you have to make, and they can make or break you. But being smart and honestly not making this, I don't always make the decisions myself, even though I'm a single owner. I always say, Jeff, my husband, is the one right here. So when I need to make a big one, I go to him and say, like, am I completely out of my mind? What do you think? Like, is this worth it? Sometimes he agrees with me. Most of the time he agrees with me. Sometimes he doesn't. And sometimes he's right, which is always frustrating. But it's great to have him there. His expertise is in sales and marketing and global sales training and things like that. So we complement each other very well when it comes to that. And I think, again, I've learned my own limits at this point. I'm not my own bookkeeper. That's something I don't have any expertise in. So I don't care what it costs me to hire a bookkeeper if that means that I'm not doing the bookkeeping, right? So again, like, knowing what you're good at and then knowing where to take risks, I think certainly has gotten me to where I am. And using my network, using the people in my life to say, what do you guys think of this? Am I completely crazy? Or can I, and most of the time, if they don't think that I should do it, they at least have reasons, or they can talk me into the what ifs and see the big picture. So being a single owner is kind of a weird place to be sometimes. It can be very lonely. It can be very scary when it all seems to fall on you. But there's a couple of people on here that are certainly some of my best friends that also own businesses, and I rely on them all the time, and we're all always sending each other messages like, are we completely crazy? This is what we want to try today. And we can all talk out what to do. So having that network of people is huge in terms of success, and not being so confident that you don't, be aware that you might make mistakes. And then what do you do with those, right? How do you overcome that? So you have to be able to handle a lot, and it's a roller coaster at times, but having that strength to, I always say, give me 24 hours. Anytime we have a big hiccup or a very, very large, devastating, bigger than a hiccup, we look at it and say, give me 24 hours and I'll figure it out. And that always says to me, calm down and think. Do you know that rule where they say, don't email a coach within 24 hours of you being mad about a game? It's almost myself, 24-hour rule. Stop, just go about your life for 24 hours and you will see clarity. And it always happens. I always have a plan a day later, and then I go for it. So having, again, like, I'm always talking to other people. I'm always looking for ideas. I never have felt that I know enough. So as a national level swim coach, I still was constantly going to trainings, and I love going to that stuff still. So constant education, constant meeting of new people really will give you ideas into your own capabilities, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you're a student of your business, which is really important. And I think that's why I really like doing these interviews, and I'm starting to do them more regularly, because I think entrepreneurs need to know they're not alone, and you do need to wrap your arms around friends or other entrepreneurs and ask each other questions. And the other thing about you too is you don't give up, and you can't give up as an entrepreneur. When things get hard, it's the people that persevere and don't give up that will come out on top and be successful. And that's because there are ebbs and flows in everything we do, but you just have to keep going. And that happens in my business too, but having that community, it's one of the things I think I love about being an entrepreneur where I am, is we have a community of people where you have your own business, but you're never alone. And we have a ton of people to just always bounce ideas off of, and we root for each other, and, we work together, not against each other. And I think that's what is important for not just women in business, but women in business is great to stick together, but we're better when we work together. Right. And now having your husband too in business, you guys seem to have that great camaraderie. You work together. And now with Tutor Doctor, how is that going? And what type of students do you look for?
So I guess the crazy part is that Tutor Doctor we can do tutor for anyone. It could be anything from a preschooler all the way through AP Calculus and college prep and college courses. So Jeff and I both have a very strong passion in the younger kids. We are providing tutoring in every subject. The cool part about Tutor Doctor, we do have a network across the country of tutors that we can tap into. So that's one benefit of being a part of a franchise. And so if we need a very obscure subject, we can get you a tutor pretty quickly through our network if we don't have one directly. Otherwise, we're working right now and hiring tutors from all different areas. Some of them, everyone sort of says, oh, a teacher is a typical tutor. Not necessarily. Right? Of course, certified teachers are the first place that you would think of to look. And as old, retired teachers ourselves, our network is very large of those. But you have to kind of look elsewhere and say, what about that mom that was a scientist and is home with kids? She can teach bio and chem and, whatever other subjects that she feels confident in. So we're looking at the professional sector and saying, who could be looking for something extra? We're looking at those stay-at-home moms. You might have worked in sales, but what was your expertise when you were in sales? You were in IT, right? What could you do? There's really anybody in the world can become a tutor if they have a subject they're passionate about. So we're looking outside the box when it comes to hiring. One of Jeff's things that he's done in the past is build entire sales forces for pharmaceutical companies. So he is focusing a lot on that hiring. And I will always say I'm the worst at hiring. I just tell everyone else about my business and hope they want to join me. And he can tell it's whether someone is going to be a good hire or not. It is a gift that he has. So that helps him on that side of the business. And our passion and something that we're really focusing on first is the younger sector of everything, from preschool through middle school, elementary school. Our kids are in 3rd and 5th grade, and having just gone through that pandemic, not to, beat a dead subject, but every child right now is behind, and the schools are telling them that they're perfectly fine. Both of our kids have a diagnosed, through a neurologist, they're both diagnosed with ADD. Neither one of them get support services at school because what they're told is they're doing well, right? Their grades are good enough, and there's so many kids behind that they don't have enough resources to give everybody an IEP or everybody support services in the classroom or even pull out. So for us, we feel Tutor Doctor has one thing that really sold us was there's an executive functioning skills portion of Tutor Doctor. It's called X Skills. It's actually a set curriculum that they've developed, and we train all of our teachers in X Skills. So every lesson that we teach when we come to your house, 15 minutes of the hour or something like that will be spent on executive functioning skills. So do I know how to study? Do I know what to study? Do I know how to read a test and pick out what they're actually asking me? Allie's in 5th grade, going to middle school very shortly, and does not know how to do homework. She does not know how to study for a test. She's never had to memorize vocabulary words. She's never, any sort of reading comprehension. Reading a paragraph and picking out as she's reading what's important is non-existent. And maybe that's partially the type of learner she is, but it's also she missed such important grades. And Jack kind of dropped. The pandemic happened when Jack was in the middle of kindergarten. He couldn't even read. So now you're asking these kids on a computer learning, and he couldn't read yet. How is he supposed to read Google Classroom at that point? So the gaps in his knowledge are there as well. And then the other thing that I think we also feel very passionate about is the social aspect of what that pandemic has done to our children. And they're behind. They need help in how to handle other kids. They need help on those skills that are going to make them better learners and better students in the classroom. So we are doing tutoring on every level, but I think that I can't tell you how many preschools Jeff has already spoken to that say every single person in their preschool needs social skills or executive functioning skills starting there, because they're not getting it. Those preschoolers are the ones that were born in the pandemic, and they're home and they were not exposed. So that's, I think, something that we're really, really excited about. Again, the way Tutor Doctor works is you spend 45 minutes or more with the family. We want the mom, the dad, and the student on that Zoom call or in person with us so we can learn who they are and provide a custom service. After that, we know that we can be successful. Of course, if the match doesn't work, we rematch them. So there's kind of a win-win, right? We always say to our families, we will make sure your child learns what they need to learn. And that's something that I always felt very passionate about in swimming too. North Jersey Aquatics is a private business. If you hate the teacher that I paired you with, then all you have to do is say, this one doesn't work with my child. And this happened this week. We had a child that's swimming twice a week and in the last month has regressed. And we couldn't figure out how he went from swimming to not swimming at all, like literally swimming to sinking in 1 month of swimming twice a week. And I called the mom. I talked through it. We talked about options. We talked about what could possibly be causing that to happen. Where is there fear? Is there something that triggered him? We went through the whole thing. And we ended up making a change in his class and a change in his instructor. So he wasn't with the same kids and he wasn't with the same instructor. He was swimming full on breaststroke and freestyle yesterday. Wow, that's great. It's amazing what a mental connection with an educator can do. And I think that's something that we over all the businesses feel very comfortable and, passionate about providing. So I can't wait. I can't wait for our own kids to have tutoring through Tutor Doctor and go through all this X skills with one of our tutors. As you guys all know, you can't really teach your own kids ever, right? So my own kids didn't learn to swim with me as their teacher. They had one of our instructors, and I'm sure that will benefit them as well with tutoring. But that's kind of where we're at with that. So we're hiring. We've hired a lot of teachers already. Jeff is booking consultations every day. That consultation piece is very time consuming, but extremely important to the process. Mm-hmm. So that's something actually parents are like, wait, what? You want to spend all this time with me? And they don't realize the benefit of that. So we've been talking to them about, this is why we want to book that consultation with you. And this is what we want to learn about your family in order to make sure we're providing something that's going to work. What are your goals as a family? Are your goals to get your child into Harvard, or are your goals that your child wants to be happy in school, right? There's a very wide range, and not every parent is looking for the same thing, but we can provide what they need if we know what those goals are. So that's very important in swimming, in tutoring as well. We have parents that want their kids to go to the Olympics in swimming, and we have other parents that just want their kid to tread for 20 minutes in the ocean. Right. I said, as my own kids, I want them to be able to tread water for 20 minutes. If they were to be pulled out in a rip current, can they tread for 20 minutes? And I always told them, you are going to take classes until you can tread water for a very, very long time. And neither one of them became competitive swimmers, but they can tread water for a really long time. So other people would have seen that as a failure. I had someone this week say to me, oh my gosh, your kids don't swim? Nope, not like that. They have no interest in that. That wasn't the goal. Their goal was, we go to the ocean. My parents have a house at the beach. We spend a lot of time in Cape May. And I want to feel comfortable with them on the beach, that if something were to happen, they won't panic. Right. So that was our goal, right? That's my kids too, just so they don't drown in the ocean. I'm like, you don't have to be on the swim team, but you need to learn how to swim to be able to tread water. Right. Because my son got caught in a riptide last year. It scared the crap out of him. And it took him a while to get back in, but you know what? We still had swim lessons going on down the shore. Mm-hmm.
because, you know, it's a life skill.
Right.
It's so important what you do and teaching that education. Good for you. That's great.
I think one other parallel that you can say is some parents look at it and say, my kid's doing well enough. And in swimming and tutoring, I feel like there's no ceiling when it comes to that. In swimming, you can always be stronger in the water. There's way too adult drownings in our country are insane how many there are. And it's because people are overconfident. They just assume that when they get in, that they will know what to do. And they won't necessarily. They may not have actually swam in a very long time. You know, all those people that are at the water's edge and they think they can swim, and you see them walking out, and the lifeguard in me is freaking out every time I'm at the beach. And then all of a sudden they get knocked over and they don't know what to do. So there's never an end to swim lessons. That is a battle. I've had very early on, I had kids swim across the pool for the very first time, and the mom goes, "Can I have a refund for the rest of classes?" And I'm like, that it's just not done at that point. So more. And I think that's something that's very changed in our culture. But tutoring isn't for kids that are failing. Right. Tutoring is for kids that want to be stronger in what they do and have confidence in what they do and have better, so, you know, skills to go on to the next thing in life. So it's very, very exciting for us because we feel that we can help literally anybody, whether they're, again, like the smartest kid in their school, but want to get into Harvard, or whether they are struggling in some way in school. And we're building that big picture. So that student as a whole will become a stronger student as opposed to just learning calculus because that's what they needed. So right. we're very excited about that. And it's just so cool the way everything is intertwined. That's really fun for us. It's very fun and very weird having both of us as entrepreneurs in the same house. So yeah. I kind of joke, I'm actually in Jeff's office right now. There's been a bunch of nights lately because my business has skyrocketed in the last month. I think because the weather is so warm, people like think spring, and we have as many now as we would typically have in June. So I'm in my busy season and didn't even realize it was busy season. And Jeff's obviously working a ton of hours as a new business owner. So I'll come in at night and say, "Wait, you're still on the computer?" And he'll say the same thing to me. It used to be him going, "What the heck are you doing?" And now I come and check on him and it's 11:30 p.m. and he's like, "Okay, I get it. I know, I get it." But neither one of us wants to stop. That's one thing, right? As an entrepreneur, it never ends. So
it never. And that leads me to my last question for you. How do you balance work and family as a mom? Like, how are you doing it all? Because there are people too, and I ask about, you know, becoming an entrepreneur with our company in my business. They're like, "Oh, I'm so busy, I don't have the time." Well, you know what? It becomes a priority. You make the time. Everyone is busy, but it's a matter of if it's a priority for you. So your businesses are a priority, but so is your family. So how are you juggling everything?
I think Jeff and our goal is to be successful, be able to provide, of course, like everyone, a life for our family, and also to teach our kids that they can achieve anything they want to achieve. So we teach them a lot. They will walk around the house saying very funny things sometimes because they're talking business like an adult would talk business, but they understand it. So it was hard when they were little. Jeff and I definitely had our battles. I felt like a bad mom millions of times, thinking like, you know, I'm still on my computer and I should be with them, or they're playing on the floor and I'm only half paying attention to them. And that is something that's very difficult, is how do you separate completely? And I will not say I'm perfect at it, but there are times when I say I'm not working, and there are times I'll say I am working. In a perfect world, would I love to when I'm not working? Maybe, but that's not necessarily possible with the type of business I run. If I'm not at the pool and classes are running everywhere, I still need to be available most of the time. But my employees know I have a work phone and a private phone. Funny enough, the work employees have my personal phone number as well. Reason is I plug in my work phone every night at 8:00, and most of the time, and do not pick it up again until 8 a.m. So it is on its charger away from me for 12 hours a day. If my employees need me, they know they can call my private phone. So it seems counterproductive to give them that one, but they know the boundaries, and I can feel very comfortable that that work phone is away from me, because if it's buzzing in my ear, the emails never stop, the messages never stop, but it gives me a way to separate. So people think I'm, you know, crazy for walking around with all these phones, but it does really work for me. Our kids also, now that they're 9 and 11 have gotten, they understand, I need to work right now, but I promise you when this phone call's over, then we're going to do X, Y, and Z. When I'm at their practices or at their games, I'm not working. I'm making sure that unless it's an emergency phone call, I'm with them. So it is hard, and I will never say that I am perfect at it. That is for sure, because it's very hard to turn it off. But I think educating your kids and your family on what you do is also important so that they understand, you know, what's going on, I guess, right? It will never end. If you don't stop it, it will not. And that's something I think that's our whole family is adjusting to that. But we also had Jeff traveling every single week for anywhere between 1 and 4 nights. So to us, it's like, whether he's in his office working or not, he's home. And he's not closed door on conference calls 12 hours a day. So it's been a really fun but interesting adjustment over the last year. But I can truly say that this is by far the best it's been since Allie was born, because we can control that time and we can split time. So that's something that we also, you know, you got to work, you've got a consultation. Well, I'll take everyone to practice. And it wasn't like that for so long. It was either me and a babysitter, or Jeff was on the road and he had a whole different set of things to do. But this is, I can't even say enough about how great it is. Is it scary to have 2 people as entrepreneurs? We don't have benefits anymore. We don't have any guaranteed paycheck. If we don't bring in money, we don't bring in money. But if you take those risks, and I guess, right, like there is no such thing as failure. In my opinion, you find a way, right? If the first way becomes a roadblock, you go find something else, because something that's changed in my mindset in the last 3 months is I sort of transferred over to the one as the guaranteed income. And for 13 years, I could do whatever I wanted, right? If I made money, it was extra, so to speak. But it's driven me to think differently. It's driven me actually to think about customer service in a very different way. I look at it and say every customer, every single person is so important, because if I lose them, that is how many dollars that I would have to replace by finding a new customer. So it's really changed the way we run our office. Of course, you have to have rules and things that you can and can't do in order to provide that product, but we're really working hard on the back end of how to talk to people and how to be the most customer centric in our approaches and emails, phone calls, at the pool, and training our instructors to provide that same level. If I'm not at the pool, then what are they saying to our customers, right? So.
That's very, very, very important. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you know what, too? You're teaching your kids work ethic. I mean, I know my boys, too, every day when they come home, hey, Mom, how was business today? You know, and they're actually always talking about what Mom does and everything. It makes me proud that I'm showing them, you know what? You can have your own business, still have flexibility around your family. And that's what I love, too, having that flexibility to be there for them when I need to, you know, but still I have this for myself and for my family. We're building a family business. And I try to help others, you know, multiple streams of income these days is so important. So yep. I am coaching other people to become entrepreneurs alongside whatever else they're doing, to have a little extra money there. You know, I think just, you know, the 2 of you together, but yeah, it's risky because you're both entrepreneurs, but you know what, good for you, because why not do it? And so now, how should people reach out to you? How would you want them, anyone listening, to connect with you for either businesses? How should they get to you?
I mean, I guess the tutor doctor of Morris County, if you just Google that or Google North Jersey Aquatics, you'll get to our websites. On Facebook, we have pages for both. I'm trying to intertwine a lot of my posting and really show everyone that they're so interconnected. So those are the best ways. And all of our emails and phone numbers are on there. But the biggest thing is just call us and tell us what your problem is. What are you struggling with? And then what's your goal? Because everyone has something they're either worried about, whether it's water or education. And then where do you want to get to from there to the next step? And then that's our job, is to figure out what we can do to solve that problem. So that's, for me, that's such a puzzle. It's exciting. I love talking to people and hearing their stories, and then putting all those I've already had together to make a solution. So.
Well, that's great. Well, listen, this was such a great chat. And I want to encourage anybody who's watching, if you have any questions, you can comment on this video. We're going to post it in various ways in Facebook, and we'll post it on YouTube. So reach out to either of us if you have questions about becoming an entrepreneur, or, you know, whatever we spoke about today. So again, Leighann, thank you so much for your time. I'm so excited for you, and much success to everything you guys are all doing. And I hope to see you in person soon. Let's get those headshots going.
Yeah. And really, one of my biggest passions is to help other business owners. I had nothing, right, when I started, and I was able to get to where I am. So you don't have to have fancy degrees and have spent a ton of money. You just have to have an idea and then a process. So I love my third business, as I mentioned a little while ago, is coaching small businesses. So I'm happy to do that on the side or not, you know, depending on how much you need, but I'm always there as a resource for anybody else that needs it as well.
There you go. Awesome. Well, I'm so glad we did this today. It's going to be saved on our profile so people can come back to it, share the links. So if you're watching and you can know someone who would benefit from them, tag them here, share this video, and we hope you guys have a wonderful rest of the day.
Thanks, Kim.
Thanks, Leighann. See you soon. Bye, everybody. Thanks for watching.